Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Let's replant and go green drive. Let's not be more economic oriented. Let's be more environmental oriented. Let's change our mindset and set a platform in combating this environmental issue for our next generation. Ladies and gentlemen, system may change, human can change, but climate change is here to stay unless you do something about it. With these words, let us be more environmental oriented and help restore a spectacular Mother Earth. Thank you, Vinaka and Dhanewat.
Who you're doing this for? We are your own children. You are deciding what kind of a world we are growing up in. Parents should be able to comfort their children by saying, everything's going to be all right. It's not the end of the world, and we're doing the best we can. But I don't think you can say that to us anymore. Are we even on your list of priorities? My dad always says, you are what you do, not what you say. Well, what you do makes me cry at night. You grown-ups say you love us, but I challenge you, please, make your actions reflect your words. Thank you.
This is now about our industries and our governments around the world taking decisive, large-scale action. Now must be our moment for action. We need to put a price tag on carbon emissions and eliminate government subsidies for oil, coal, and gas companies. We need to end the free ride that industrial polluters have been given in the name of a free market economy. They do not deserve our tax dollars. They deserve our scrutiny, for the economy itself will die if our ecosystems collapse. The good news is that renewable energy is not only achievable, but good economic policy. This is not a partisan debate, it is a human one. Clean air and a livable climate are inalienable human rights. And solving this crisis is not a question of politics, it is a question of our own survival. This is the most urgent of times and the most urgent of messages. Honored delegates, leaders of the world, I pretend for a living, but you do not. The people made their voices heard on Sunday around the world, and the momentum will not stop. But now it is your turn. The time to answer humankind's greatest challenge is now. We beg of you to face it with courage and honesty. Thank you.
A strong economy is vital to maintaining a healthy environment. When we innovate, produce, and grow, we're able to unleash technologies and processes that make the environment better while reshoring. And so importantly, you look at reshoring production all the way, taking it away from foreign polluters and back to American soil. My administration set the new global standard for environmental protections with...
Why care about the environment? We as a human species have committed many sins against nature, against God, and against one another. Human beings too are creatures of this world, and so widespread environmental degradation doesn't just hurt natural resources. It hurts human life as well. We are meant to be among and for creation as its caretaker, not above it as its Lord. Humanity was never given unlimited authority to do whatever it pleased with the earth. Amassing excess private property at the expense of others is not the will of God. The earth is a gift meant for all, to be cared for by all.
It's never been more critical for us to understand what is driving this crisis. Scientists have identified the key ways in which we humans are destroying the ecosystems on which we depend.
We've converted 75% of the land that is not covered by ice.
3/4 of the terrestrial surface has been changed.
We have a moment.
I do truly believe that together we can create a better future.
As I listened to President Tong describing the situation, I really felt that this was a problem that no leader should have to face. I came to climate change not as a scientist or an environmental lawyer, and I wasn't really impressed by the images of polar bears or melting glaciers. It was because of the impact on people and the impact on their rights to food and safe water, health, education, and shelter.
We are the leaders in environmental laws. We are the leaders, and at the same time, we are the leaders in economic growth.
So is your point that you can be environmentalists and still do well?
That is the point, because so many of the Republicans say we are pro-jobs, but we don't want to hurt the jobs and we don't want to hurt the economy, so therefore let's forget about the environment. It's absolute nonsense, because we have proven it here in California that you can do both. You can take care of the environment and also the economy at the same time.
I heard you were starstruck when you met that little girl.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I invited her to our World Summit in Vienna. And this girl one day said, I'm not going to go to school, and I'm going to sit out in front of the Capitol, and I'm going to protest because they don't do enough in Sweden.
Right.
Because Sweden is already doing a lot for the environment, right, the Swedish government. But she thought it was not enough. So she's sitting there and she's protesting, not going to school, and created a lot of attention. And her whole spin was, this, wait, you guys can fuck around with the environment all you want, but who is it going to affect? My generation.
That's right.
Because we're going to inherit the world. And you have the responsibility to hand over this world in better shape than you inherited it.
So why?
So she is protesting, and she got a lot of attention, and therefore now all of a sudden the media worldwide is now writing. They have a new kind of spin on writing about a clean environment. And so she really is a great, great asset. She's a great communicator.
My name is Greta Thunberg. I am 15 years old and I'm from Sweden. I speak on behalf of climate justice now. It is the sufferings of the many which pay for the luxuries of the few. The year 2078, I will celebrate my 75th birthday. If I have children, maybe they will spend that day with me. Maybe they will ask me about you. Maybe they will ask why you didn't do anything while there still was time to act. You say you love your children above all else, and yet you are stealing their future in front of their very eyes. Until you start focusing on what needs to be done rather than what is politically possible, there is no hope. We cannot solve a crisis without treating it as a crisis. We need to keep the fossil fuels in the ground, and we need to focus on equity. And if solutions within this system are so impossible to find, then maybe we should change the system itself. We have not come here to beg world leaders to care. You have ignored us in the past, and you will ignore us again. We have run out of excuses, and we are running out of time. We have come here to let you know that change is coming, whether you like it or not. The real power belongs to the people. Thank you.
Dear future generations, I think I speak for the rest of us when I say, sorry. Sorry we left you with our mess of a planet. Sorry that we were too caught up in our own doings to do something. Sorry we listened to people who made excuses to do nothing. I hope you forgive us. We just didn't realize how special the earth was. Like a marriage gone wrong. We didn't know what we had until it was gone. Oh, you don't know much about trees, do you? Well, let me tell you, trees are amazing. I mean, we literally breathe the air they are creating. They clean up our pollution, our carbon. They store and purify water, give us medicine that cures our diseases, food that feeds us, which is why I'm so sorry to tell you that we burn them down. Cut them down with brutal machines, horrific, at a rate of 40 football fields every minute. That's 50% of all the trees in the world gone in the last 100 years. Why? For this. You know what? Cut the beat. I'm not sorry. This future, I do not accept it. Because an error does not become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. When the rivers are all dried up and the trees cut down, man will then realize that he will not be able to eat money.